Welcome to the Joy of Breathing. I'm Andy, and today I'm going to talk about how to fit a spiritual practice into your daily schedule. Now, as a breathwork practitioner myself, I sometimes get asked this question, like, how do you actually make a spiritual practice a part of your day-to-day life? And it can be a lot of experimentation, a lot of picking things up, letting things go, finding what sticks, and releasing those that don't. So today's video is going to be all about just my experience, my kind of tricks and tools that I used and still use today to really cultivate a spiritual practice and hold it dear to my days. Really, I can narrow it down to the 3 P's. If I'm gonna narrow it down to anything, the 3 P's are my guideline, and they are prioritize, practice, and persevere. Now, why are they my 3 P's? Well, prioritizing anything in life that's important is, for me, always number one. So, my spiritual practice that I do every single day is breathwork. And it's just 20 minutes long. It's not a big prioritization or a big commitment, but it's 20 minutes every day that I prioritize, and I have it at the top of my list. So, I wake up, do my morning things, have a glass of water, have my turmeric and golden milk, and then I sit down and breathe. So it's become my top priority, and because it's my top priority, I do it every day. And it's a symbiotic relationship with it as well, because now it's my top priority, and I can see the benefit of it in my life and what it's given to me and what it's given to my physical health. I used to have an inflamed gut and anxiety, and now breathwork. It's not like a magic pill that I take every day and it goes away. But every day it just chips away at making myself feel better, both physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, and then that feeds back into my priority. So it's this beautiful kind of crossover between prioritizing something, seeing the benefit makes it more of a priority, more of a priority makes it more beneficial to me, and it's this beautiful kind of feedback loop that seems to happen. So that would be my number one tool and advice for anyone looking to find their way with a spiritual practice and really make it a part of their day-to-day life is, first of all, experiment a lot with lots of different techniques, lots of different practices, teachers, tools. And then once you've found what it is for you, what it is for your intention and your life, and what can really be brought about in all of those different things. If it's Kundalini, or if it's yoga and it's Kundalini yoga, and then if it's the breathing parts of Kundalini yoga, the pranayama exercises, you can keep narrowing it down until it becomes something that's you. Or if it's dance, what kind of dance? Is it 5 rhythms or conscious dance or whatever it may be? So just finding whatever it may be that you find fun and uplifting and joyful and challenging and growthful, and then prioritize it as number one. That's my top advice. It doesn't have to be in the morning either. I just like to breathe in the morning because it sets my day up wonderfully, and I kind of feel like I'm in a place where I can really step into my day with an open mind, open heart. But it can be any time in the day. My girlfriend dances at night. I know people that do their spiritual practice at midday in between their lunch break. It can be any time of the day, any time of the evening, whatever suits you. It's your day. So this is to really find a way to bring a spiritual practice into your day, and that's part of the joy as well. The second one is practice. I kind of alluded on this one, but there's that cheesy saying that practice makes perfect, but it's kind of true. I mean, when I first started breathing, I was kind of faking it, to be honest. I was kind of faking my way. I loved it. Don't get me wrong, I loved it. But there was an element of, am I doing this right? Is this the right technique? All those kind of doubts and niggles. So practice really is kind of the way or the gateway to making it last and making it really build into the day. Because prioritizing something is number one, but then it comes to the point where we have to act on that prioritization, and that's all about practice. So for me, it looks like yeah, waking up in the morning, practicing my breath work. It took a little bit of time to figure out that 20 minutes was my perfect window. I did kind of a few other things where, um, yeah, they were a bit longer or just more intense. And I found that I wasn't quite able to stick with them. So I found 20 minutes just the perfect amount of time where I could commit to it every day. It wasn't this huge time commitment or effort for me to show up. And because of that, I could stick to my priority and really, yeah, really kind of build it into my day. So that's number two. And then number three is really perseverance. There's gonna be days where it just sucks. Wake up wrong, you've had a bad night's sleep, you might have been out the night before, a little bit tired, a little bit grumpy. It could be anything. There's like intense workload you got to get through that day. Um, could be anything, illness, whatever it may be. But really, the persevering with something allows us to kind of ride the bad days and enjoy the good days. And often what I found with this, especially with a spiritual practice, but all kind of practices really, but in particular a spiritual practice, is that showing up on the hard days is actually where a lot of my growth has come from. So when I can move through resistance and sit down and breathe, I kind of train my mind and my heart that we're going to move through resistance and we're going to sit with it and we're going to allow it to be here. We're going to welcome it in. We're not going to try and suppress it or push it away. We're gonna, yeah, kind of move through the resistance instead of diverting my attention to something else that may be more appealing or maybe more, yeah, distracting, say. So, in a way, persevering with a spiritual practice enhances a spiritual practice because it gives it ground to actually provide insights into life and into our experience. And I've found in particular that, just taking the resistance resistance line of thought here. When I'm having a difficult conversation and I feel resistant, I'm less likely to turn away from that conversation or not want to have it or kind of feel uncomfortable in it because my spiritual practice allows me to work through those emotions, understand them, come up with insights to really like sit in it and move through it, and ultimately come out the other end and realize that actually these things are very transient, they're very momentary. And if we just carry on, persevere with what we're doing, eventually we transform them and transmute them into something not better, but something useful, I guess. So yeah, those are my 3 top tips for building a spiritual practice into your day-to-day life. The other one that I could add in is patience. Kind of goes on the back of perseverance, but patience really is a golden tool for compassion and seeing the wonder and the joy and the frustration of actually having a spiritual practice. Because it's not, like I said, it's not going to be a magic pill that we take to then clear things up. I had an inflamed gut for like 5 years. I had anxiety for 20 years. One or two breathwork sessions or a week or 1 month or 1 year, it's not going to happen. So really I had to cultivate the patience and the compassion to really show up every day. And much like a drip of water that erodes rock over time, every day is a drop of water on this big rock. And if we can just keep showing up, each drip will eventually smooth the rock and make it into something more or less dense. And that for me is a joy. Every day showing up, committing myself, prioritizing it, being patient and persistent and persevering with it. And yeah, the results really start to show in mundane stuff, in things where I may have got more angry, say in road rage, or I notice more things in the garden, or I'm more present in a conversation. Those little things where they can indicate that the work is being done, and it's allowing us to meet life and not be so distracted or, so triggered by things. So that's my 2 cents on this whole topic. Before I leave you, I just want to share something that my friend said. She's an amazing marathon runner that doesn't always like running. So that kind of says a lot to me anyway. But she said, and it stuck with me. She said, I can't always commit to running, but I can always commit myself to the lead up to what I do before I run. And for her, that looked like putting on her running shorts, putting on her socks, putting on her shoes. And then at that point, once her shoes are on, she was way more likely to go and run than if she was just thinking about the idea of running or that I should run. So that for me has really stayed with me, and it's kind of what I now build into my daily practice as well. And it sounds maybe basic, but what my run up is I wake up, have a glass of water, have my golden milk, maybe if it's a nice day, go outside and catch the morning sun. Brush my teeth. Brush my teeth is like my friend putting her shoes on. Once I've brushed my teeth, I feel clean and happy to sit down and breathe. And then really that's it. Then I go into my back room where my meditation space, and I breathe, and it kind of leads me up in that way. So coming back to the first one, prioritizing, the breathwork is the main prioritized part of my day, but also the lead up to it as well. So that's what I can encourage as well. If you're on this thought, you want to build a spiritual practice into your day, you feel like meditation, yoga, breathwork, tai chi, dance, any of these beautiful spiritual practices that could enhance your day. One, prioritize. Two, practice. Three, persevere. Please have compassion and patience. And then also find a way to build up to your practice with things that can just get your body and your mind and your heart in the right place where you can sit down and they know it's coming. Once they know it's coming, I know from personal experience that it kind of feels weird when it doesn't happen. So that's a nice little life hack to carry forward with you as well. Let me know in the comments below what your spiritual practice is or wants to be. And yeah, let me know if it's breathwork as well. I always love hearing about breathers and breath workers. So yeah, let me know if that's you. And blessings on your journey. May it be fruitful, and may it be graceful, and may it be insightful.